By the end of this 2-week trip in Guadeloupe and Martinique, we'll have visited about 35 or 40 different distilleries, and I'm piecing together what I feel is the perfect collection of rum. We're at H.B.S. Distillery. We've been wanting to come to this the entire trip, but they close at 1 p.m. and they're all the way on the north tip of the island. So it was a little difficult getting here. We've made it just before they're closing in about 30 minutes. Let's go taste some rums. We're the only ones here. So here's the grinder. So this is one of the smaller distilleries we've visited. With 1 ton of sugarcane, they produce 800 liters of juice.
Fermentation is 48 to 72 hours.
This is one of only 2 distilleries on the island that uses the alembic-styled still. And so from the 800 liters of juice, after distillation, they'll have 70 liters of rum. So they produce only 70 liters of rum here per day, and it all fits right in here. This one is made with red and blue sugarcane. This one is with red and vanilla sugarcane. They're the only producer using vanilla sugarcane on the island. And then this is the red and blue sugarcane again.
How was the first one?
It's delicious. Just got my palate warmed up. So now the red and vanilla sugarcane version. They're all delicious. This one's called Dame Jeanne, and it's named after the glass vessel here, the traditional vessel for holding rum. This one is using both the red and the blue sugarcane, and it's a VO, so that means aged for a minimum of 3 years. This is a VSOP, which means it's been aged for 4 years, and it was aged in an ex-cognac barrel. It was definitely worth the 2-hour drive to get here. This was a great distillery. This is the smallest distillery on the island, and the quality is really exceptional, and their prices are also really good, probably too low. We got 2 bottles here of one of their white rums, which uses a mix of red sugarcane and vanilla sugarcane. They're the only producer on the island using the vanilla sugarcane, and it was only 25 euros a bottle, which is amazing. Sugarcane grows way faster than I realized. For stalks this size, it only takes about 8 months. And actually, if you let it grow much longer than that, it just falls over. So they have to harvest it. This is the vanilla sugarcane. They're the only ones producing this. And I had said before how they give these generic names like red, blue, vanilla, but they actually, the real names are these codes. So here you can see vanilla cane, the real name is B51.129. Here they have a diagram showing their setup of the still. So they're using both an alembic still and also the column still. This is their little store. The name is A1710. The A stands for artisanal or agricole, and the 1710 is when this farm began. However, they didn't start making rum until just 2016. Our guide today was the most knowledgeable of anyone we've spoken to at any distillery. So if you're into rum, this is definitely a place you have to visit. Yeah, I asked if they let people stay here as a hotel, and unfortunately they do not.
They said only Lily.
I wonder what type of sugarcane that is.
My knowledge is red.
It does look red.
This is the red sugarcane.
And so what flavor profile does the red sugarcane give?
Sweetness.
Maybe. We're here at a museum dedicated to the history of sugarcane, and we learned that Christopher Columbus actually brought sugarcane with him on his second voyage and planted it in the Dominican Republic. However, production wasn't large. The Portuguese were the first to really do large plantations in Brazil, and that started in the 1500s. Then in the 1600s, it was Dutch Jews who really developed the industrial process to make lots of sugar, which was then exported back to Europe. It was only raw sugar that was made in the Caribbean and Brazil, and then the refining was done back in Europe. So this one is called St. James, and they have a really nice museum if you want to learn about the history of rum. But we found that both this one and another one called Habitation Clemente, which both get high marks online, but they're really made more for tourists and for like tour buses to stop at, and they just sort of lack the passion of some of the smaller producers. You can tell they both have a lot of money behind them. They're big operations, but nice museum here. So right now we're seeing the La Salle plantation, and here they produce both sugar and coffee, and they've restored everything so we can see the plantation as it was 100 years ago. It's really a beautiful spot. Oh, neat. So the fires would have been under here, and they'd have these big cauldrons to boil the guarapo. So there's a water wheel, and that's what would power these rollers. So they'd feed the sugar cane through here to extract the juice. This one we're trying first is in virgin American oak, and the brand is La Salle. This one is a cuvée, so a mix of barrels from 4 to 6 years of age, right?
Yes, exactly.
And aged in bourbon barrels. It's a nice color to it. Color. And so this one is aged in cognac casks, which I always enjoy. Yeah. Very much. How long is it aged?
It's a blend from 6 to 10 years.
6 to 10. You often hear people use the description of tobacco flavor in these rums, but honestly, I haven't tasted any rum until this one. And but it's really like sweet pipe tobacco. It's not like the dirty cigarette tobacco. All right, we're trying another brand here. This one's called Baie. They stopped production in 2001, and now it's been taken over, or the brand's been taken over by St. James, which we just visited. It is nice, this company, St. James, seems to own this place as well, called La Salle, and they do more than any of the other distilleries for education. So it's really nice they have these museums and this plantation. They're both good places to visit just to learn about rum and how they're produced. We found another great distillery here in Martinique. So this distillery, Baie de Trésors, they grow their sugarcane in 2 different areas. Close to here, which is right near the Baie of Treasure, is drier. And so with the dry climate, it concentrates the sugars within the sugarcane because, of course, you have more evaporation, so less water in the cane itself. And that results in a sweeter rum. And they feel that it ages best in American oak. Then they also have a plantation of sugarcane in a wetter climate just a few miles to the west. That gives you a more smooth rum because there's more water content in the sugarcane. And that one they age in French oak. This distillery only started in 2019, so it's a fairly young distillery. But they do something unique here, which we really appreciate. They don't blend years. They don't take, say, a 2019 and 2020 and put them together. They want people to appreciate each year of rum for what it was. Yeah, these are really big fermentation tanks.
See how high we are? That's scary. We do not prove to be here.
There's nothing in the tanks right now. I was really excited to visit this distillery. It's called Rhum J.M. and it's in this beautiful setting. We're here in a valley in the jungle. They have this river flowing through here. Also, their package design is stunning. It's arguably the nicest labels of any distillery we visited. As soon as you put the glass of rum to your nose, it's just all acetone. And we tried several different types. It's all of the bottles. So you can tell there's a beautiful rum, but they're all hidden under a thick, dense layer of acetone. I wish they would recognize that flaw and fix it. It doesn't make sense to save, 2% of alcohol. They're destroying their own product, and it's so disappointing. They're doing a really nice job on everything else. They're cleaning their column still. They put the sugar cane here, and it's pulled up by this conveyor belt, and those rollers will press out the juice. They've got 2 big column stills here. There's a bottle from 1929 and 1950. It's right at the base of Mount Pelee, which is the volcano here in Martinique, which last erupted in 1902. And so they have volcanic soil where they're growing all of their sugarcane. And they don't buy sugarcane from anybody, they grow only their own. These distilleries all have such beautiful grounds. You can see they're growing their sugarcane right here. And the distillery is right over there. And then this is the mansion, which just celebrated their 100-year anniversary in 2022. So it was built in 1922. And sometimes it's open. You can actually take a tour of this. It's not open today, so I'm just going to walk around. This mansion here is incredible. It's got a view of the ocean on that side, and then behind it, the view of the volcano. What a beautiful property. Look at that. Look at that. There's the volcano, Mount Pelee. Oh, I guess they do weddings here. So we tried about 6 of their rums here, and they were good. Going back to the United States, we're only allowed 5 liters of alcohol per person, which means between Lily and I, we can have about 14 bottles. So that means if I buy a bottle, it has to be something really special to add to my collection. And while the rums are good here, they're very standard flavor profiles. They're solid agricole rums, but if I can only choose 14 bottles on this trip, I have to be really discerning, and there was nothing here that was so unique that I needed it in my collection. Some of these distilleries like A1710 are just so spectacular that I'd almost rather buy more bottles there. Tastings here are all free, but sometimes when there's a special bottle like this one, they charge you a little bit. So for €5, you get to try a 22-year-old bottle.
Very special bottle.
Beautiful color.
I get to smell this one.
Dark brown. Oh wow, that's exceptional. It's a bit like having a Werther's original caramel. So we visited nearly every distillery in Guadeloupe, and we visited every distillery here in Martinique, and this is the very last one of the trip, called Rhum Hardy. I'm excited to see it. It gets very high reviews online, and it's a relatively small distillery. Let's hope it's good. Nice setting here by the water. Boiler over there. So this one's not really a distillery, it's a brand. It's being made by St. James, where we were before. St. James seems to make a lot of different brands. We just arrived in Martinique about an hour ago, and we're already at our first distillery. And I picked up this bottle. It's the most vanilla-forward rum I've ever tasted. This is Lily's favorite. So this is a syrup made from the sugarcane, and then they infuse it with a local hot pepper. And it makes this really delicious syrup. You can drink it like this, you could add it to a hot chocolate, or we're looking forward to putting it on some fried chicken and waffles. I think it's gonna be an excellent ingredient for that. John Deere makes sugarcane harvesters. So this guy was replaced by the harvester. This is one of the barrel houses for Neisson, and you can see they have the large barrels here.